Welcome everybody to another OpenShift Commons. And today we're really excited for the IBM Cloud Pak for Data team. So this new release has been eagerly anticipated for all of IBM's customers and Cloud Pak for Data users. And we're here with Clarinda Mascarenhas, Offering Manager of IBM Cloud Pak for Data, as well as Clay Davis from Tech Data, very important partner. We love Tech Data. And then Travis and Partha are also here from the IBM Cloud Pak for Data team. And Clarinda, really excited about how much work has been put into this new release. And congratulations. And please take it away. We'd love to hear more.
Thank you so much, Karina. It's really a pleasure. Definitely. It's been a great release for us this year. I will give you guys a quick overview of what we will be covering in our agenda today. So in today's session, we will showcase the highlights of Cloud Pak for Data version 3.5 release with a quick demo of the deployment using our operators, which is one of our new capabilities, and how it ties into Red Hat Marketplace. And we've also onboarded this release in 3.5 on our global distributors Tech Data's Marketplace. And we'll hear from Clay on why Cloud Pak for Data is important to them, followed by a quick end-to-end demo that Travis will walk us through. Now, we've come a long way, since 2.5 years. We're in our 9th release, version 3.5. And in today's presentation, we will be learning more about the enhancements in this release. We just had a successful GA, like Karina said, prior to the Thanksgiving week on November 20th. I just wanted to give some background, what we exactly did like a couple of years ago through our data and AI portfolio with data management, governance, analytics. We tried to build the best tools, point solutions for the different use cases, but clients wanted to build a more comprehensive use case driven platform that had to go through the pain of piecing these services together. And so since 2 years, our positioning is more from a platform perspective with Cloud Pak for Data. And many of you must have heard about Cloud Paks itself, which are predefined use cases. We have 6 other Cloud Paks. It's to deliver our end-to-end experience with a pre-integrated unified experience to end users. I wanted to quickly give you guys also a feel for what our data and AI platform is. As we start from our foundation, which is based off OpenShift, Cloud Pak for Data is truly a hybrid offering, which can run on any public cloud, on premises, avoiding vendor lock-in. And as you can see in the 3 boxes here that we have data management services. There is always a need to use data from diverse sources, allowing you to manage your enterprise data through a single pane of glass, no matter where it lives, through data virtualization. Our main differentiating factor, which is data governance in the center through the organized rung of the ladder. Like it said, it's important to understand your data that is actually required for AI. It needs to be trusted so that you can then analyze it to build self-service analytics. And the last section, the last box, is analyzed with our data science and analytics support for best-in-class tools and open source frameworks that allow you to run your models across a variety of different environments. Think of it like build once and deploy anywhere. And of course, we have these different personas that you can actually see on the platform on the top. Now, quickly for version 3.5, I just wanted to cover some of the foundational specifications. 3.5 supports OpenShift 3.11 and 4.5. Besides our different deployment options that I just called out, we are also introducing our support for Z this release. Also we run on storages, including the OpenShift Container Storage, Portworx, and NFS. And we'll see in a bit, with our growing ecosystem, also onboarding on the Tech Data Marketplace, etc., how Cloud Pak for Data is growing not just with IBM third-party services, but also open source services. Now, the next thing I quickly wanted to cover is if you need an overview of the latest packaging and where the capabilities lie in 3.5, version 3.5, we have some base capabilities like you can see over here, and then we also have extensions. I give a simple analogy similar to your iPhone. We have default apps, which are part of your base services, and you always have premium services, which are like extensions. And all these services are pick and choose, pre-integrated. It's a land and expand model based on your needs. This release, we are introducing new services in the base that you can see highlighted with data management console. We'll see details of that in a bit. In the AI portfolio, we have the WMLA, the Watson Machine Learning Accelerator for deep learning use cases, as well as data privacy enhancements. And then from an extensions perspective, we are introducing knowledge accelerators for different industries, for business vocabulary, and then open pages, which is actually one of our GRC solutions, and also an oil and gas solution that we're introducing this release. Now, quickly, just to summarize, what are the high-level themes in Cloud Pak for Data this release, given the times we are in? We are seeing a trend of companies, they're either in a survival mode, with a new normal, or they're in an accelerated growth mode. And having said that, our two high-level themes to cater to both these types of needs are the cost reduction strategy and the innovation strategy. And you can see from a cost reduction perspective, and we will cover the details of each of these themes and areas in a bit. Businesses are looking to optimize their costs primarily through automation or IaaS or moving to cloud to optimize their infrastructure. And they're also looking, for return on investment. That's a very important factor. Additionally, when it comes to innovation, they're more in a growth mode and trying to keep up with the increased demand for their business, investing more in resiliency or risk management and data security or advanced AI. And we'll be seeing what each of these capabilities are actually going to cover in a bit. So from a cost reduction perspective, there are two main areas that I wanted to highlight here. One is improving user experience for more productivity, and then our simplified platform management and enhanced automation to increase time to value and efficiency. So we'll be focusing first on user experience for more productivity. The first important thing I want to call out here is you can see on the left-hand side, you have many different pain points when you use a platform, and you have data located on many different servers, public clouds, many different user interfaces for different users, and it's painful for end users to get their job done, very, very seamlessly. And so you can see on the right-hand side here is our unified user experience based on the job role and permissions. So it's simplified from a persona perspective, and it's experience around our users rather than the services that we have on the platform. And our design team has done a ton of user research studies and refined how the navigation will appear to make it more intuitive, as well as provide ease of use for our end users. The next capability that I wanted to cover is in terms of our unified experience is for data engineers. We wanted to give them a unified way to manage their databases in one place. And without this tool, it's called the data management console. You might need multiple consoles to manage native databases running on the platform. So with this unified data management tool, you can use it to manage data virtualization, connecting to any sources that are on public clouds, on-premises, etc. Your DB2 databases on the platform, to run your queries, to monitor the performance. And this new console is actually built on a full set of open RESTful APIs. So anything you can do on the interface, you can also do that through our open APIs. So in short, from receiving alerts and monitoring hundreds of databases and optimizing the performance of them from one screen, providing you a single view across the enterprise, to even creating, altering, and managing your database objects through this single interface. So this is a great value add for us on our platform. The next important capability we have is platform connections. There are two main goals here. We wanted to make sure that we use a common mechanism of connectivity across all our services on the platform and a common set of connectors across those services. And if you want to find a set of these connectors, they are available on our Knowledge Center. Please feel free to take a look. It includes IBM, third party, all different types of connectors, as well as custom JDBC connections that you can define. The goal is primarily you can define once and make it available in a catalog where you can use it from anywhere. And the main problems this is trying to solve is primarily around reusability and streamlining the use of data sources across our platform. Now the next theme, we covered some of the highlights from a user experience standpoint to increase our productivity. The next theme is around our unified platform management capabilities and enhanced automation. So, we've seen in the past system administrators and end users often have a lot of difficulty in operationalizing and managing their data and AI workloads. So this has been one of the pain points. And what we've done this release is we've introduced a couple of capabilities. One is through our platform management. System administrators on containerized platforms, they have many services deployed and different resource consumptions and entitlements. And they're very complex to manage on your own. So besides providing the capability to drill down from service to pod level to debug and correlate the issues, administrators also require visibility and control of compute, memory, resources being consumed by users, services, and the platform, and the visibility and control of the workloads across the platform, including all the services that are deployed. So what we've introduced this release is we are also giving the capability to configure resource quotas on CPU and memory for the entire platform as well as individual services. That way you can monitor your thresholds and receive email alerts when usage exceeds the configured quotas. And optionally, you can also configure a scheduling service to enable a soft enforcement of these quotas. That way, you aren't exceeding what you've actually allocated. So this is one of the great capabilities this release. The other important capability from a management perspective is oftentimes we've seen that a lot of the data science workloads, etc., that are running in production, we need to make it easy to monitor it as well as manage it over a period of time. So we've introduced this capability in deployment spaces with enhanced dashboarding capabilities where you can actually see an integrated operations view for the workload that you're running to depict the runs, the failures, etc., as well as, so that you can quickly find your issues and get a quick view across all the different spaces. When we say spaces, think of it as just a concept where we actually do our production level deployments on the platform so that you can access it through your apps, your machine learning models, through a REST API, etc. And this also builds the way for us to, to build on queuing and capacity planning for these production workloads in phase 2. Now, the next important capability, and I won't speak much to it because Partha is going to walk us through this demo, is our Cloud Pak for Data operator. It's an OLM-based operator for faster deployment and configuration, allowing you to install, uninstall, patch, and scale in an effective as well as an automated, scalable way. So let's see it in action. Over to you, Partha.
Thanks, Meva. Let me share my screen.
I think we lost Partha for a moment.
Okay. Maybe Travis, why don't you quickly show us a quick demo of the end-to-end platform while Partha comes back, and then we'll dive into the operator demo in the end. So Travis, do you mind sharing your screen?
Sure. Let me do that quick.
Thank you.
All right. So hopefully you guys can see my screen okay?
Yes, looks good.
Excellent. All right. So I'm just going to take a quick 15 minutes, kind of walk you through some basic pieces around the platforms, do a quick kind of end-to-end demo with some use cases. Let me first start off actually with a couple of slides to kind of make up the use case for you here. Right. So I like telling a story when I do demonstrations. So the demo scenario we're going to walk through today. So a fictitious telecommunications company, they have a goal of trying to retain customers. They want to make your standard customer churn and propensity to churn model better, faster, easier, and adapt to the marketplace, right? I'm going to kind of do an end-to-end demo all and create a whole model and deploy it hopefully within the next 15 minutes. Now, what I'm going to show, and as Clarinda mentioned before about breaking things down across the AI ladder around collect, organize, analyze, and infuse, the first phase, I'm going to go through and focus around the collect and organize pillars, right? Around how I connect to data through data virtualization, quickly doing some discovery and analysis of that data and publishing it out for use by my data science team. The data science team, right, is going to go through and do some shopping for data, find the information that they want quickly utilizing the platform. They're going to build a quick auto AI predictive model, right, using our auto AI features inside of Cloud Pak for data. And then they're going to take and promote that machine learning model up to a deployment space that's Clarinda mentioned. And then the last phase, I'll show how quickly and easily somebody can take that model that's been promoted and deploy it as an online or batch service, and then how that can quickly be infused into your processes and applications. All right, so let's jump into the quick demo. All right, so this is one of the views of Cloud Pak for data. As you can see, a bunch of tiles of activities, which I can now go through and customize the tiles. And as Clarinda mentioned, I'm logged in actually as a super admin, so I can see everything. But depending on your role, you'll see certain tiles and pieces that affect you and what you're working on. Right. Let me see if I can get my mouse back and the end of that show and come back to the screen here. All right. So I'm going to start off in that role of a data engineer type. I'm going to go into data virtualization. Now, there are multiple ways to go through and access data and then make that available throughout your data, throughout the Cloud Pak for data platform. One of the ways it's very powerful is data virtualization. And this one, I show here that my current data constellation view is I have a DB2 database, another DB2 database, I have a Postgres database, MySQL, Oracle, a Mongo, MariaDB. I could just as well have other connections to S3, other connections out to file systems, and have that as a complete constellation view of the various connectivity options that are already configured within the system. Now, what this gives me the ability to do is now take, and as a data engineer, I can come in and look at my virtualized data and I'm going to take a look at just some individual tables. And so here's some tables around some customer data that was requested for this customer churn project. I can now real easily decide, well, how much of this data do I want to expose and publish out to the data scientist teams and to other project teams that want to use this data. I can expose out into.
We can't see your screen.
Your screen is really tiny. The data, the virtualized data. Can you expand it out?
Yeah, it should be. It should look normal though. So let me see if I can zoom in. If maybe it makes a difference. Does that make a difference?
It looks like it's a square on.
Yeah, let me stop sharing and I'll reshare. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Perfect.
That's probably what's causing the problem. All right, let's share again. And share my entire window on screen 1. Wow. All right, how is that looking now?
That's awesome.
Okay. technology challenges. So, so within my virtualized data view, I have multiple tables. Now I could decide as a data engineer of how much I want to securely expose of this data out to interested parties that are also using Cloud Pak for data or external applications as well, right? So for example, I can say, you know what, I want to go take a look at this customer profile information. I can take a quick peek into it and do a preview. I have authority to see this data, so I can see this is a good data set that includes a customer ID, marital status, estimated income, months as a customer, etc. I can see the table structure. I can see metadata information about this table. And I decided, you know what? I want to go ahead now and combine some of this data together and give one simple virtualized view of multiple databases or data sources out to my data science team. So I can actually take customer profile data, customer billing data. I'm going to go ahead and just join that together as one simple data set with a new graphical interface. I know that the ID fields are the ones that match. I can drag and drop and connect those up. If I wanted to get more complicated, I could actually drop into an SQL full-blown editor and do coding and detailed work there. I'm not going to do that. I just want to do a simple join. I can hit next. I can look at the edit the names of all the columns associated with this join data set. Hit next. Make a new view. We'll just call it demo join customer data. And now I have a choice of where I want to add this back out to. I can add this to an individual project for an individual user. I can make it fulfill a data request. I can add it just to my virtualized data. I can also go ahead and submit this into a global enterprise knowledge catalog that can then be shared with other data scientist types. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to create my own view pieces of that, and I can go take a look. Now right here is my new data set that I've created. And once again, I can go in and do a preview of that. I can see that now there's 16 columns associated with it. The table structure is now much bigger than before. Now metadata-wise, I can see that there's 2 source tables or files, 1 main schema, and I can see the detail of those pieces, right? So what did I just do? I was able to take multiple data sources behind the scenes, decide on how I want that exposed out to my team in a secure manner, and then create a single view which can now be accessed via tools inside the platform or tools outside the platform with the standard DB2 driver connectivity access. One more quick thing that I want to show around data virtualization is a very powerful cache management system, right? So I can actually log in as an administrator and I can see the various queries that have been occurring through the data virtualization platform. I can take a look at details of those and see which queries have taken longer, which ones have been quick. And what I can do is I can actually add a new cache ability, right? Where I can actually select which different types of queries or pieces of data and add those with an amount of memory I have set up for a real-time cache ability. So if I have a user using a single query every day, I can now have that set up as a cache and have that refreshed over time. So that way it doesn't have to go out to the end data source. It can pick a straight up from the cache and use that in a real quick and easy manner. All right, so that's data virtualization. Now, one of the next steps that I would usually do as part of data virtualization is as a data steward or a data ops representative, I would say, you know what, now I have new data sources. I want to be able to use data management and go out and analyze that data, understand the quality of that data before I expose it out to all my users. So here's a quick example. I went ahead and ran those same data sets through the discovery process within Cloud Pak for data and had to go ahead and profile that data and look for different pieces and parts within the data for analysis. So if I go into that same piece of data, so I understand where the customer sat piece of that data, I can see customer sat has these 6 columns on the left. I can see what kind of data quality score that it gave me across each of those different types. I can see that there's also a delta, which is if I rerun this analysis, I can look at my data quality and pieces over time. So Cloud Pak for data has hundreds of different classification types, as well as rules built in that will help you do data quality. And you can also then customize those to specific things that you need for your particular environment. If I take a look at data quality here, for example, I can see the last data quality run. I can go down and see the dimensional results of those pieces and parts and kind of see what was going on. I can see that complaints per month actually had a lower quality score, so I can dive in deeper and take a look at those details and see the data quality and see some possible violations and findings associated with a specific column or an entire data set. All right, so at this point, as a data engineer, I've taken the data, I've published it back out to my data catalog. And now I'm going to hand it off to a data scientist, and I'm going to go out and shop for data, use that data, and then build a dynamic auto AI based machine learning model. All right, so that was that step. Now, if I come back over and I change roles, and so now if I come in as a data scientist to go do work, I'm
sharing your screen again because it seems to have decreased to a smaller size.
Yep, hold on. It must be when I change tabs. It must be a feature.
Okay, sorry.
All right. There we go. Is that better again?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just stay on this tab from now on, hopefully, to make that simpler. All right. So now, as a data scientist, I'm logged in. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at some data. I want to go see what data is in existence to go run for my customer churn model. I'm going to take a look at the customer data catalog. So here's some of that data that was published as part of those discovery results and pieces before. I see here's the customer billing and profile data, customer satisfaction data. I see that Amy has also published out a single view that is a customer profile billing and stat data, always one new view through data virtualization. I can go take a look at that data and see if that's the kind of data that I want to be able to pull into my project. So it'll do a quick overview if I have access to see it. All right, so now you can see that it has 21 columns of joined single data. I can see if there's any reviews upon this data. I can look at the profile information about this data and see different pieces and parts of that data. Let me actually take a look at the customer profile data that we just kind of looked at before and look at some of the profiling associated with that data set. So as a data scientist, I can now take a look at the data in a little bit more detail and see some of the results of that discovery that was done before. For example, I can see that, well, marital status is a pretty good distribution. It may be a good one to use for my AI models. Number of children, decent distribution. Estimated income is pretty good distribution, but the mean around 111,000 looks good. So now, you know what? I like this data. I'm excited about this data. Now I can quickly move that data into my project for use. And that's as simple as over here on the left. I say, you know what? I want the profile data. I want the individual data sets just in case. And oh, by the way, here's the customer churn data set that is a CSV file to my catalog. I'm going to take all of those. And now I can simply just hit add to project. And I can now select this into my churn project. I can just hit add. I'm not going to hit add now. I've already added them in to kind of speed the demo up. But that's how quick and easy it is now for data scientists to shop for data, find the quality data that he likes that's part of the platform, now bring it into his own project. And so what is a project? So let me go into my churn project. A project is a scoped set of assets that me as a project lead can create a project. I can add in people that I can collaborate within my project. That's also part of the platform. And then the project has a collection of assets that are scoped for my view and my use within the project itself. So for example, there's data assets. So here's some of those same data assets we were just looking at before that was created by Amy. So customer satisfaction, customer profile, customer billing. There's auto AI experiments, notebooks, models. So the project is that collection point for all of your assets that you can then use those within your project. All right, so what I'm going to do next is, you know what? I have all the data that I want. I have access to that data. I'm going to go through and add some new pieces to my project, especially on an auto AI experiment. So I can add these new assets, depending on what I have installed on the system, into my project. I can make a scoped connection to outside data. I can make a new auto AI experiment. I can use a modeler flow to create a graphical model. So if my skill set isn't coding, say in Python or Scala or something else, I can actually use a graphical representation to build a model. I can build a virtual analytic dashboard. I just want to take a look at the data and analyze it without writing any code. If I am that data scientist type that loves to jump in and build something with code, I can actually jump into and create a brand new notebook and develop a new model from scratch via that mechanism. I can also use a prescriptive model using our Cplex engine with decision optimization. So as a project lead and as a person within this project, I have the option to use any of these different types of interfaces and tools to get my work done. Another one that I'd already used behind the scenes is something called Data Refinery, which is a data wrangling, data munging type of graphical based tool that I can use within my project. So behind the scenes, I actually went ahead and I built out a quick little data wrangling project where I took the customer profile and billing data, did a combination of that and joined that with my customer churn data and made a new local data set that's just within my project that I can go now use and analyze from an auto AI perspective. So let's go build an auto AI model and show you what that looks like. All right, so what is an auto AI experiment, right? We'll just do a quick demo one. I can pick my compute resources and hit create. So auto AI is a function that was introduced in one of the last releases of Cloud Pak for data that allows you, as more of a democratized data science type of user, the ability to not have to code anything and let AI build an AI set of models for you. So this is a quick entry point, extremely powerful and extremely accurate to be used by full-fledged data scientists or new data scientists or just anyone that wants to build out a model. All right, so here's what we do. Well, first I'm gonna go in and pick my data source. Here's my customer merge data source that has all my customer data and the customer churn data all together. I'm gonna select that as an asset. It's gonna analyze that data quick and give me a list of all the columns that are associated with that. And then it's gonna want me to predict wants me to select which column it is that I want to predict upon. I'm gonna use churn as the one, and because it's churn and because it went and analyzed that data set, it's suggesting to use a binary classification with a positive class. And what is the optimized metric? So how do you want to judge the success of the models that it builds for you? And it shows accuracy as that model. Now, what I can actually do though is if I want to get a little bit more detailed, I can click on experiment settings and go in and take a look inside of the settings that's going to run with this model and make changes where it makes sense. For example, I can decide how much the data is used for training versus how much is used for testing afterwards. I can pick columns that maybe I don't want certain columns to be included inside of the model and pieces. I'll just leave them all there for now. I can go into the prediction set of settings, and you can see right here that because of the data type of that churn column, it's suggested doing a binary classification, right? Which is more of a true-false designation type of predictive model. I can override that and choose a multi-class classification, a different type of model, and I can pick other settings if those are available with different types of column details. I can also pick what my optimization metric is. It's suggesting accuracy. I could choose precision or recall or other data science capabilities to determine the metric I want to use. I'll just use the defaults. Then down below, here's all the out of the box algorithms it's going to test and see which ones are the best ones to go ahead and use. Let me go ahead and hit save settings, and let's go through and go ahead and run this experiment. All right, so what this is going to do, it's going to bring up a new graphical interface, and I'm not going to go through it. It may take 5 or 10 minutes to complete, and I'll kind of jump over to a completed one already. But what this is going to do behind the scenes, it's going to, let me swap the view. You can see some of the steps that it's going to take. It's going to first read in the data set. It's going to take a split hold out of that data to that 85-15 split that was shown in the setup. It's going to now read that data. And it's going to pre-process and clean up the data where needed. It's going to look for blanks. It's going to look for things that maybe shouldn't be there inside of the data and clean that up to the best of its ability. Then it's going to go ahead and select the various models that it would expect to give you the best results based upon the data set itself. And then once it selects the various models to test, it's going to run through those models. It's first going to do just a straight test. Then it's going to do some hyperparameter optimization based upon those results and test it again. Then it's going to do some feature engineering and build some new features for your data set, and then rerun those through again. And then it's going to do one more hyperparameter optimization pass. And so it's going to do that for each of the models that are selected inside of the activity. And you can see here that it's going ahead and it's starting its processing. And here's a different view of that same processing that it's doing right now. So it's going through and selecting the current algorithms, and once that's complete, it will go ahead and kick off the runs of those algorithms to go through and complete its work. Just for the sake of time, I know that we're going to do this quick. I'm going to kind of jump back into my project and show you. I ran the same one a couple of days ago, so you can see what the completed model actually looks like. I'm going to go down into my completed auto AI experiment for the same churn data. And this one I actually ran across 4 different algorithms. And so there's actually 16 different runs that it went through in this testing. And you can see by looking at them that it ran through all of those. The star right here represents the one that actually tested out to be the best. You can actually see the leaderboard down below. And so what this means is that it thinks that pipeline number 15, which is this one right here, with an LGBM classifier type of algorithm, got back a 98.2% optimized piece of accuracy. And then it used 1 hyperparameter optimization run and 1 feature engineering run to complete. And this one took around 17 minutes or so to run this individual model at the time that it was done and completed. If I want to go in and take a look at the pipeline comparison, if I want to look at details across all the different 16 pipelines that were run, accuracy was the important piece. I can actually select, I just want to show the top few from an accuracy perspective, right? I can see the 15 and 16 were the top 2 for accuracy. I can put my mouse over it and actually see how it looked across the comparison scale with the other models. I can go one step further and then down below, inside of my pipeline summary, I can actually expand out and look at the details associated with that particular model that was created. So I'm going to click on it and actually go into even more detail. I can quickly see how within the model itself, it shows model accuracy, area under the curve, precision, etc. I can dive into a confusion matrix. So if you are a more experienced data scientist and you want to look at the details behind it, these pieces will show you all those details and thoughts behind it. If you're more of a junior data scientist like me, perhaps, I can kind of look at these and somewhat understand what these mean. I can look at the information and kind of gives me definitions for them. Some important things for you to see, though, is that it will show you which features are the most important. So which characteristics of your model have the biggest impact on your model. So for example, might not have guessed it, but the estimated income of the subscriber is one of the biggest factors to whether they will churn or not churn. Other things such as months as a customer, number of support calls in the last year. It's interesting to see what important features there are towards that. All right. Now, with that model, I have a couple of options now, right? So I've gone through the work now of creating a brand new model, having that run. But the goal is to actually promote and deploy a model to production, right? That's your goal. Your goal isn't just to do analysis. Your goal is to make a business impact. So I can now take any of these models that were created from here, it's algorithms, and now I can come over here and say, take the top ranked one, and I can now save off this algorithm as a new model within my workspace. I'm just going to call this demo 1. Now this will take that individual algorithm, package it as a deployable runtime model, and save it off into my project space so that I can then promote that for my team to go to deploy into a test environment or to production. For those data scientists that also say, you know what, I want to see what happened behind the scenes. I don't trust it that it was that good. I can also take and export this this model out into an active running notebook and look at all the Python code associated with what was done behind the scenes using IBM's Auto AI technology. And so here's a quick peek into how that model actually looks from a notebook perspective. And now, me as a data scientist, I can come in and actually tweak this. I can run it individually. I can check it against different data sets. But I have a full-fledged, detailed notebook written in Python code that was created for me without having to go do any work. So it's a very powerful, powerful solution. All right, so let me finish this piece up here quick by saying, you know what? Let's leave. And so tell me quick, guys, if I need to redo my screen again. Hopefully it still looks big.
So you'll need to redo your screen, but
okay.
Afterwards we'll probably ask you to do another demo that we can share with everybody.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Travis. Thank you. It was really a good overview of the platform itself. quickly, we will be moving on to, one of our other great achievements this release is we've onboarded on the Tech Data Stream One marketplace, and I would like us to showcase, what we're really doing with our global distributors, partners, etc. So, Clay, why don't we start off with you telling the audience about your role at Tech Data and before that with IBM?
Yeah, sure, Clarinda. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Well, first, let me say it's really a pleasure to be here with you and the folks here. I mean, I've been looking forward to this for some time, and be virtually sitting with someone who's really smart and talented like you is a pleasure. So, well, I'll start with my time at IBM. I spent 8 years at IBM, all within the data and AI organization, working with great people like you and Travis and others. And I held a number of roles during my time at IBM, but my final role was directly working with Cloud Pak for data as a sales leader in North America. My team was responsible for driving sales and helping impact product direction, and for the new solution, this new solution of Cloud Pak within IBM. And then earlier this year, I began a new chapter in my career when I moved over to Tech Data, but I didn't stray far from IBM. I still work with IBM almost every day, and a lot of it is around Red Hat and Cloud Pak for data. And so at Tech Data, we're a global distributor, and there I'm responsible for leading our data, IoT, and AI practice globally. So I work with both vendors like IBM and Red Hat, as well as our business partners and resellers to kind of optimize the impact that we can have through the channel ecosystem. So it's a really interesting space to be as I now kind of have a broader view of the market and how best to help our vendors and our partners.
Glad to have you, Clay, and it's been an amazing ride. This partnership between Cloud Pak for Data and Tech Data has definitely been building some buzz. So, do you want to tell our audience a little bit about how it can change the game for customers?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, look, as you know, through my background, Cloud Pak for Data is near and dear to my heart. So I really love what IBM's doing with OpenShift through the Cloud Paks, even beyond just Cloud Pak for Data. So so much so that when I arrived at Tech Data earlier this year, one of my highest priorities, if not my number one priority, was to ensure that the channel ecosystem knew the power of Cloud Paks, and especially Cloud Pak for Data. So we kind of found that in order to, how best to put this, like effectively absorb this power of Cloud Pak for Data. I mean, you saw Travis go through that. Just a very brief demo of the robustness of Cloud Pak for Data. But in order to kind of harness that power or absorb that power, that the channel ecosystem, so our resellers and our partners, we're definitely going to need some assistance. And so thanks to the power of OpenShift, right, Cloud Pak for Data can be deployed on any cloud, which is a huge thing for our channel and for our clients. And so as a distributor, we work with so many partners that, and we work with all these cloud vendors. So we set out to ensure that we can build the most effective way for Cloud Pak for Data to be consumed. And so that's what we did together, right? Our team at Tech Data, your team at IBM, we built a solution of Cloud Pak for Data that we term a click to run solution. So really what that means is we just make it really easy for our partners to sell Cloud Pak for Data and therefore get IBM and OpenShift into more end users' hands and go help deliver business outcomes.
Awesome, Clay. That's really good to
hear. And kind of a similar question that you asked me, but I'd love to know what to ask you to comment on what our announcement means to IBM and especially to IBM business partners.
It's really exciting. Tech Data has over 1,000 global vendor partners, as we know, operating in more than 100 countries. And, onboarding Cloud Pak for Data on this global IT marketplace, Stream One, which will help streamline the buying, selling, and other services automated and offered to the global partners, is awesome. Additionally, as you're aware, just what Travis showed with our hybrid cloud ecosystem strategy, customization is very key. And Tech Data is definitely, as a value-added distributor, It meets our customers where they are with solutions that are more innovative yet less costly, offering comprehensive services, to foster this wider adoption. So, to provide that expertise and to help both our business partners and customers not only to deploy large scale solutions from technology providers, but you guys are helping them customize them to their specific priorities. Not to forget, the click to run automation that we developed to deliver this on the Stream One marketplace of tech data, which is definitely going to be a unique value for our partners. So simplifying some of the most, I feel, time consuming and complicated parts of deployments and in automating complex processes such as infrastructure, platform, software as a service deployments, building connections, configurations, and integrations is something that I feel is really going to cater to our business partners and to our clients. So Clay, coming back to why do you think Tech Data selected Cloud Pak for data, amongst the other solutions?
Wow, great question. Yeah, I mean, we kind of have our pick, honestly. I mean, we work with so many vendors and even partners that have their own solutions. I guess I would kind of narrow it down to two reasons. First, as I mentioned earlier, like we work across our cloud vendors, and so we wanted to make sure that we had a solution that would not only work with the vendor's cloud, so in this case IBM, but Azure and AWS and others. And obviously Cloud Pak for Data allows this, OpenShift. And second, we know that more clients are looking for that all-in-one solution to drive business outcomes. And Cloud Pak for Data accomplishes this by, kind of some of the aspects that Travis went through, but it's to really simplify this. And this is how IBM's, effectively marketed this solution. It's by allowing users to go and collect data, organize that data, and then analyze that data, all before being able to infuse that into their organization to use it in the most effective way possible. So, I mean, it's kind of a short answer, but for those two reasons, it really made Cloud Pak for Data a no-brainer for us to pursue and to go build this market-ready solution and put it on our ecosystem platform and kind of get off and running.
Very interestingly, and I assume, I mean, you mentioned it already, but I know that you're already seeing a lot of value from the integration with Red Hat OpenShift on Stream One already.
Yeah, you're right, Clarinda. I mean, we probably can't say it enough, but it really speaks that first reason I gave above, right, where we can work across cloud vendors, seamlessly. It speaks to the power of OpenShift, and this is such a big deal for our channel ecosystem. And so, we know that we live in a multi-cloud world, but especially when you think about the channel, there's still a lot of organizations and resellers that are still working that out, right? Figuring out where do they land, where do their customers want to be, right? And trying to work, through in a business outcome landscape. So being able to, we know that it's a multi-cloud world. We know that Kubernetes is the future, and being able to effectively expose that to the partner ecosystem, I think is really, really important. So this, the seamless integration of OpenShift and kind of what it enabled when we built the solution, and again, what we're exposing our partners and end user to is really much needed, and frankly, it's just really exciting. So, and what's interesting is, obviously, I gave a little bit of my background, but I've worked with Cloud Pak for Data extensively in the past, but I've been out of the everyday for the last 9 to 12 months. So, I'd be really curious to hear how it's going recently. You covered the 3.5 release already, but maybe we'll start with what's your favorite new feature that customers can use, especially when we think about this click to run solution that we have.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very good point. So let me quickly showcase what would be my favorite capability in Cloud Pak for Data. So I think innovation is definitely one of those areas that has been very attractive. So one of the capabilities we're actually bringing in this release, frankly speaking, is our Watson machine learning accelerator in the base. And it allows, I think it allows, everybody to use deep learning on GPUs. It makes it much more easier for data scientists for this distributed deep learning architecture that simplifies the process of training deep learning models across the cluster for faster time to results, as well as powerful model development tools in real time for training visualization, as well as runtime monitoring of accuracy and some of the hyperparameter optimizations we just saw in Travis's demo for faster model deployment. So I think this is one of the great capabilities that's coming in Cloud Pak for Data. One of the other capabilities, which is in early stages by IBM research team, but it's definitely a new cutting edge technology, and it's a new concept that I feel everybody should try out, is our federated machine learning capability, which enables multiple organizations to train ML models collaboratively without having to share data. And so you can imagine what this really means. The driving factor behind this is definitely data privacy, confidentiality, regulations, and even the cost to move the data, right? So it's machine learning without moving your data. And you can, you might have your data on AWS, IBM Cloud, on premises, and without moving the data from these locations, you can have a centralized data aggregator, iterate and build and bring ML to where your data lives. So I think these couple of capabilities, I would say, are definitely highlights for this release, Clay, from our end, and folks should try it out. It's been
really neat.
Go ahead.
I was going to say those are really, really neat. The federated learning, especially, we're going to have to dive more into that at some point, because that sounds really neat and addresses a lot of the data privacy issues that we definitely see in the market.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Clay. It's been amazing to have you on this webinar, and we'll continue our partnership going forward.
Yeah, I look forward to it, Clarinda. Thank you.
Thanks. So quickly, before going back to the operator demo, there are a couple more capabilities I wanted to cover that are coming in Cloud Pak for Data. One of them is data privacy. And many times, we have seen the need for a lot of data protection. That means you want to sometimes de-identify your data for data science. You want business analytics and testing to be able to done on the same quality of data that you put into production, that you're training your models with. And so this is one of the capabilities that's tightly integrated with our Watson Knowledge Catalog, from data subsetting, fabrication for end users, and most importantly, it aligns with our governance strategy. And you can even use this, to provision your data for test data, for your models in production with the same level of security. And this capability is very useful. One of the other capabilities I quickly want to highlight is that of knowledge accelerators. We in our governance portfolio, we have data quality, data consumption, more from a self-service perspective, and we have data governance. And oftentimes, it's important to understand the business vocabulary of your technical data. And building the business vocabulary is more than creating a word list. And it takes time to create a usable business vocabulary with definitions and business context. So to quickly get you up and running this release, we're bringing in the IBM Knowledge Accelerators. It's scaling the business vocabulary quickly out of the box for industries like healthcare, insurance, financial services, and even energy and utilities. I'll quickly hand it over now to Partha to walk us through a quick demo of the operators that we built with Cloud Pak for Data on the Red Hat Marketplace. So Partha, over to you. Do you want to try sharing?
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Clarinda, and thanks, Travis, for the excellent demo. So I'm going to show you the this is the first time Cloud Pak for Data has adopted the operator framework for installation and upgrades, which makes it easier for customers to adopt the platform and get started in a quick way, and makes installs and upgrades easier. Historically, we have been using tool-based installation, and this is the first release where we have adopted the operator framework. So in this demo, we have the Red Hat Marketplace way of installing the cluster. So here I have registered the OpenShift cluster in this Red Hat Marketplace console. So let me just show you how the experience is. So when I click on the cluster console, it will take me to the OpenShift cluster. While that opens up, we can go to the software that I have installed already on my Red Hat Marketplace dashboard. So you see all the listings as usual, and one of which is the IBM Cloud Pak for Data. So you can install the operator from this console directly. So what this does is it gives you a mechanism to install the operator, pulling it from the IBM operator catalog dynamically. So here I just click on the install operator, and what happens is it takes me to a page where I can select the OpenShift project that I want to install it in using the OLM mechanism. So here I select the OpenShift project called the Cloud Pak demo, and the installation is started immediately, and in a couple of minutes the operator is installed and is ready for use. So parallelly, we can go to the OpenShift cluster itself, where we can see the operator getting installed. So this is my project where I'm installing the operator. Here you can see that the Cloud Pak for Data operator is getting installed. So as soon as it is installed, it is ready for use. So I'll show you quickly how we can install the control plane directly from this console. So I click on the Cloud Pak for Data record, and in the details, I can see all the important services that we have been talking about in this session, all the main services that are highlighted here for the end customer. It also links out various storage and resource requirements to the IBM Knowledge Center, where user can look at what are the resources required and what is the security constraints that the platform uses. So I'll quickly go and create the control plane, wherein I need to specify the service name that I'm interested in, namely the control plane in technical terms is called light. I specify the storage class, and then I just accept the license terms and conditions. So what this does is it installs the control plane, which basically sets up the Cloud Pak for Data web client, and from where end users can get started on it easily. So in the same cluster, I have another project where I have installed a couple of other Cloud Pak for Data services. So here you can see we have installed all the important services that we have listed, namely AI OpenScale, Watson Machine Learning Service, DB2 Warehouse, and WKC, things which Travis had shown us earlier. So that's all I had to share. Thanks, Clarinda. And any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Partha. And I request everyone, if you want to try out this operator, we're going live on the Red Hat Marketplace on December 10th. So you can try it out we have a trial as well. So awesome demos. Thank you, Travis and Partha, and thank you, Clay, as well.
Thank you, everybody, and congratulations again on this great new release. And as Clarinda just mentioned, look for it on the Red Hat Marketplace on December 10th. I just wanted to reiterate that because it's very important, and being able to try it out. We're very excited about that as well. So thank you so much, Clarinda and Travis and Partha and Clay, for joining us today. And everybody look for the recording on the OpenShift YouTube channel. And until next time, thank you, everyone. And Chris, if you can